Why Bigme has released this unit is a little bit confusing, and it's concerning as well. Now, the device in and of itself is not bad, but they did two things. They removed 4G, which is fine because that puts it right on par with the Palma by Onyx. In fact, that's what it's meant to compete with. But the thing that doesn't make sense is the name of this unit. It has no name. It is currently called eBook Reader 6G plus 128 gig, Android 11, smartphone 36 level front light. That doesn't make sense. You can't go to market with a product and not have a name. In fact, they call it ePaper Reader HiBreak. Here is the unit itself, already pre-installed with a gel case. I would imagine it does look like one. That is a very unflattering case. I'm really not a big fan of the partially translucent gel. I really wish it would just be white or fully clear. This kind of middle ground just looks incredibly cheap. I also don't like how they already put the case on for you. It's not a good look for the unit itself, and also doesn't make sense because there's a camera bump cut out. But this is completely flush. There's no camera bump with the case on, so I don't know what that's about. Now, the biggest thing you must know about this is that this is not the one with a SIM card. There will be no SIM card on here if I can find English. It will be, oh, there it is. This is an SD card version only. So you can see on the side here, there is a card slot. Now we will open it up because that's the biggest difference between these two. It's also running 6 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs onboard storage, not the 256 found on the HiBreak Pro, which actually did have a name. Let's take it out of its case here, which makes more sense because if you remove all this stuff and the case is gone, you now have a camera bump, which nestles beautifully in the case like that, in the box that is. So let's open up the side here and see what we're dealing with. Open that up. So it looks like, yeah, there it is. You have an SD card slot, and they've actually deleted the micro SIM, or the nano SIM, I should say. They just put a bar across it. They didn't tool it out to the point where it can accept it because it's crossed out. Now, if you cut that out, I doubt there's the board on the PCB, the printed circuit board, that would accommodate that, because that's the whole point they're releasing this unit, is to not have any calling. The back is very cheap. It looks like leather, but it's just regular plastic. You have a power button, volume up and down, e-ink button. You have an earpiece still, which is, I believe, the only, yep, that's the only speaker right there. It shares with the same speaker pack as the earpiece, so be careful. You have a couple light sensors and a camera. You have a camera at the back with flash package, and on the bottom you have USB-C and prospectively 2 microphones. In fact, let's check the guide here. 2 microphones right there. So let's turn it on and just do a first time boot up before we get into a full review in a subsequent video. At times it's very evident you're dealing with a Chinese manufacturer because you have multitasking switch when they could have just had multitask switch. So you're going to be finding these little inconsistencies throughout. Much like the HiBreak Pro, it has a decent overall hold and form factor. It has a little bit of a screen gap, so there's quite a bit of space between the actual outside and the screen itself. You do have the glow light on there. You can turn that off, you can turn that on. Now, really the only thing different they are telling us is the calling capabilities. There will not be any cellular information. So even if you go to more connections, there won't be any cellular. Granted, you still could use this via Wi-Fi and do WhatsApp calling, WeChat calling, Facebook Messenger calling, etc. You can even use different applications to have kind of Wi-Fi based phone calls, so to speak, but this will not have the ability to basically put your cell phone plan in here. Now, also to that point, there's also less RAM, as we stated, so this is a more kind of dialed down version. How does that actually translate into the everyday use of it when we do videos and stuff like that? We're going to have to find that out as we go, but for now, this is everything that comes in the box with the brand new, it doesn't really have a name. It's just the ePaper Reader HiBreak, which I believe personally in our 17 years in the industry, that is a massive misstep. You do not go to market without a name. You must have a name to your products. If you don't have a name, things are going to get lost. A lot of their devices in the past just had code names with random digits and characters, and it just doesn't make sense. You must apply a name to every single product, but for now, stay tuned for the full review.